My name's Scott Tarbox. I'm an artist working and living in Houston, Texas, and welcome back to another episode of Drawn Out. This is a video series where I focus on a drawing or painting or whatever project. I talk and give some commentary as I go through, and then I time-lapse in areas where I'm not speaking as much. It's not necessarily a tutorial, but it does share some of my thought processes of making decisions, and is more or less just a way for you to come along with me as I work on a project. They're usually shorter projects so that I can do a full video across the whole thing. Today's episode is another Patreon giveaway done with colored pencils, drawing a gator wearing some jeans out in the country. So let's go ahead and jump into that.
The pencil I grabbed a minute ago seemed to have not the kind of marking I wanted. So we're gonna do a fat gator, maybe in overalls or something. Not really sure, but it's gonna be kind of hunched over here and maybe looking this way. Give him some chunky arms, maybe like a foreshortened forearm here. Might take me a few tries to get the mouth right here. It's not exactly a fat looking mouth. It's alright, but it doesn't really look fat, you know? Maybe it's fine, maybe he doesn't have to be super fat. We'll see what happens. Again, like I've said, this is meant to be more of an exercise of doing something as I go along without as much of a plan as I normally have. Usually I plan out my pieces in a lot of detail, and even before I start sketching them, I kind of get an idea of what the composition should be and stuff, and this is meant to be more of an exercise in letting go of that and just seeing what I can come up with, which sometimes comes out with really cool stuff. Give him some wiggly lines on his gums there. This isn't really supposed to be his eyeball, it's supposed to be another part of this up here sticking up, so you should only really see this one eyeball. And this is like the ridge of his head or whatever I'll call it. Give him some nostrils. Here. And that. Sense it started to. I think that makes more sense. Maybe once we add some teeth, it'll feel more natural. Yeah, I pretty frequently reference animals when I'm drawing them, just to make sure I get certain details right, so that's another part of this that is a little out of my comfort zone for me, but something I want to do. And I can kind of just guesstimate or make it up as I go along and see how it works when I make certain choices. Because sometimes stuff doesn't have to be exactly how it would, be for it to make sense. it does help to have an understanding of those things ahead of time. But, you know, you can take certain liberties with certain things to be creative. There's definitely some things I've done in the past that don't make sense anatomically, but the piece compositionally maybe or conceptually still benefited from the end product. So I'm trying to maybe think of him holding his arm over his shoulder so it would go out more. This arm would go out more. A hook here. I want to have him like haunch forward. So that's the idea. Do quick things like this. And these are what I use for my giveaways, so they're like a fun exercise for me to do. Doing something just out of my head real quick, and then also adds an element of something to give to my patrons. So the pencil stage is done, so we're gonna move ahead to the ink stage. In here, but I'm worried he'll knock down all my stuff if he's in here. He gets excited and runs out of the studio very, very recklessly, and will knock anything and everything over. Alright, so the main outline's done. Now I go back with a 0.45 and do the rest of it. I'm not going to outline these circles that are on the bottom because they're going to just be full of color pencil color. I'm gonna make like a line here where he's a different color, so like all in this area. And here, through there. He's a different color. Green. But we're gonna go ahead and do the green first. Now with these smaller pieces, I tend to only do 3 shades. So a recurring thing with me and pieces I do is that whether it's spray paint or color pencil, I I pick anywhere between 3 and 5 steps in a scale of a color, and the smaller it is, the less steps there are. So since these are smaller pieces, I only use 3 colors. The bigger the piece, the more colors I'll use in that scale to break it up. Mainly because it's just hard to fit that many colors into a smaller area, and it kind of comes off as noise, I think, if you use too much in a small space. And I am testing colors out over here. A lot of these greens are just too dark. This guy. You guys better. So I need to sharpen him, get rid of that. And I tend to work, just one color at a time. I'll do everything that is that color, move on, so I don't have a million colored pencils all over the place. And I think that's easier than working like top to bottom throughout the whole thing. And I work dark to light, so we're gonna start on the hands. Everywhere else that he would be that color. I'm gonna make the bumps around his eyes the same color as underneath here, and then everything else but the jeans on him is gonna be green. I'm gonna go ahead and do this area to completion. A lot of times I would take the darkest color and just put it everywhere that it would go. This time I feel like just doing this area completely. And seeing how the colors work together. Although, like, once I commit to a color combo, you're kind of stuck with it unless you want to try to erase it, because doing different color combos in different areas looks whack. It's a big part of why I test them over here to make sure, because even if you feel like you've used them before, sometimes they don't look how you think they will when you put them on paper compared to the shade of the actual pencil itself, Depending on how I'm feeling, I'll either, put the highlights at the top or put them down a little bit. And putting them down a little bit tends to give more of a rendered feel, like a little more of a three-dimensional feel. And then if it doesn't quite look how you want, you can always blend back. Guard dogs getting after it. They are not quiet. All right. Honestly, I don't love using green. It's one of the colors I use least, but he's a gator, so I'm gonna make him green. I don't know, I just don't feel like green works into a lot of palettes for whatever reason with what I use, especially since I usually saturated colors. I don't know, I tend to go with pinks and purples the most, and or a completely warm palette are the things that I think work best for my art personally. But he green, he gator. Could have made him purple, doesn't matter. He ain't gotta be no real gator. He gonna be a fancy gator. He already is a fancy gator. He got hands, boy. Make those ripples on his mouth, highlighted areas. I don't want too much this dark through there. I'll go ahead and put the dark color everywhere that it's gonna go. Oh wait, it's not gonna go there. Apes. Oh shit. But they go here. I can feel that I'm holding my neck at a weird angle. I should probably turn this upright and just draw like that, but I feel like it's easier for my camera to see what's going on, so I don't know, I'll have to play with it because this is I don't normally draw like this. If I draw my drafting table, it's at an angle so that I'm not killing myself or whatever. All of these things are made worse because I have scoliosis, so my back always hurts. Not a good idea to sit in a way where I have to twist myself all contorted and such. Alright, I'm gonna stop with the country accent. For the rest of the video, I don't know about all that. We'll see. Kind of just messed up there because I kind of did it. But I mean, I am, you know, a southern boy, southern man. So sometimes it just comes out. It's really annoying when you can feel that the color part might be slipping out because you can't press that hard. And as you can tell, I like to press very hard with my colored pencils, which is usually not the way that people are encouraged. I don't know if that's true. I just know when I was young and in school, they always told me not to press so hard, but you know, I don't know. They know. I like the way it looks, and I'm doing this for a job, so it must be fine, I guess. I failed all my art classes when I was in high school because I was really stubborn and kind of a little brat. I like to think I'd be a better student now. However, I don't know. Art school's weird. Like 99% of all the full-time artists I know didn't go to art school, and most of the people I know that did go to art school aren't doing it as a job. I don't know that I'm not trying to say don't do it, just because I didn't do it or anything like that, but I've seen, and kind of what I gather is that when you get out of college, you owe a lot of money, and you might know how to paint real well at the time and all that, but it doesn't mean you know how to apply that into making money. And you need to make money. So most of the people I've known personally who have gone to art school end up being forced into trying to pay off their loans really quick, which means getting a different kind of job. And they don't know how to turn their skill that is probably, you know, enhanced by the schooling they took into a way to make money. So, I don't know. I mean, if school was free, hell yeah. But because you leave with a huge burden, I don't know. I would never discourage somebody from doing it, but definitely something I'm glad I didn't do, because I got to just work my way out of waiting tables and barely scraping by doing that at my own pace until this started paying the bills. And it was a lot of hard work, and it required me being lucky in a lot of ways. But it would have been a hell of a lot harder if I had student loans for art school, especially since, like, in jobs that can make you money really quickly in a really accessible way, I don't think it's very helpful. And granted, that may have changed in the last year. I don't know if they're better about teaching you practical skills for turning your talent into money or what. I could be totally talking out of my ass. I mean, I am at this point, just because I'm so far removed at this point from the age in which you would be considering school, being 35. That doesn't really apply to me, but those were my opinions as I decided not to do it, and those stayed my opinions as art became my full-time job. For those of you who don't know, I was a heroin addict and struggled with alcohol, and the alcohol stuff has been, like, on and off through my whole life, but not nearly as severe or debilitating as my issues with heroin, obviously. Actually, I'm gonna save this story. I'm probably gonna edit this out, and just do like a bio or whatever later in a separate video, because I don't know if this will demonetize it. I mean, none of them are monetized right now anyway, but they could be in the future, and I don't want this drug talk to be like, you know, a big old bummer for the monetization folks. You know, they gotta sell their Dr. Colas and lemon lime what you who's it's, I don't know, you know, whatever. Sorry. Alright, so we have picked a color for the underside of Homeboy, and I'm going to use this on this area of him, the things above his eyes, part of his hat, his boots, and part of the fishing rod. I think to help make sure you can tell that the fishing rod is something different than the teeth and all that, I'm going to make sure that that's a different color. Like, I might make the teeth straight up yellow. Do y'all have scoliosis? How do you deal with it? More tips and tricks from Tarbox. Cricky spine over here. I'm lucky enough that my spine isn't so bad that it needed surgery, but also it was never bad enough that it justified the risk of surgery, which meant that I also just have it my whole life. There's no fixing it, probably. I've tried yoga, I've tried so much stuff. It all stems from the fact that one of my legs is longer than the other one, so like inserts could help and stuff. I don't know, our bodies are really unreliable. I'm not a fan of what they got going on. It could be better. Like, I know that's a bit ridiculous, all things considered. We're like arguably the most impressive, man, what am I talking about? Species on the planet, but yeah, pretty mid. Alright, so what's left is grays, blues, yellows and whatever color I want to make the spots, which probably purple. I might do that right now, actually. Let's see. What colors have we got here? Got purple. Got another purple. And a fuchsia. It's weird because it feels like I'm talking like you would be to Twitch chat or something, but nobody's here. And I don't know. It's just an interesting phenomenon. I could stream this stuff, I guess, but I don't know. For now, I just like that it's another way I can put out more videos. Color is tiny and hard to use. Alright, yellow and gray, and then I'm done with the coloring. Well, I could use pink in here. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna use the same color of brown rather than bringing out yellows. I think the yellows would actually be distracting because it would be the only place that there's yellow. I like the pink, at least relates to the background, but you know. And then the rest of this is just gonna be grays. So for the eye, we got this cream, white. No, this isn't white. Shit. It's really weird. Like sometimes when you use these, or sometimes when I use these anyway, they run really well and I don't have any issues putting out pigment, and then other times like I can't get anything out of them. I've tried so many different brands and this one is the most consistent, but even then it's not super consistent, but it's my favorite. All right, we're done. I try to highlight as much stuff as I can without overdoing it. Trying to make the spots little, not too overwhelming. It took an hour and a half. I've got to fix this table before the next one. Boom.
Thanks for watching, everybody. You can find links down below to my shop or my Patreon where you can actually win this. Once a month I do a giveaway that goes to the first person to comment on the post of the image of the piece that I'm giving away. There are other benefits to my Patreon like discounts, early access, and then of course the stickers and prints that come with the main tiers. You can find all that below. Thank you again to my patrons and see you guys in the next one.